All right, so we are live. Sorry for the delay. My fault, partially, and then obviously Google. So, Devakarji, please figure that out for us in the future. So, thank you everyone for showing up. And I apologize for being 2 minutes late. I was sitting here 15 minutes early. I don't know what happened. So, I'll give you a little background why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, tomorrow is 1st May, all right? And it's May Day. And the whole idea is how do you get started with becoming better? All of us wait for New Year's, our birthday, days like that. So to get fitter. And I think that's useless because we keep wasting time up till that day. We are active for a day or two, and then we're not active after that either. So it's kind of waste of time totally. So starting tomorrow, starting today is when you should be getting on to becoming better. All right. So that's the whole idea. So hence the project so it's about you. It's about becoming your best friend before trying to become a better father, mother, sister, son, daughter, whatever, like any of that, right? Saying, how do you become your best friend? Don't even worry about the whole philosophy of things and all that. Just get moving. Physically, can you stand on your 2 feet? Literally, right? Only if you can do that, if you can lift your own weight, are you doing okay in life? Okay, so that's the whole idea. So Mayday connected to Project I. Again, as you would have, those folks who've seen my post on Instagram, Project I refers to I, obviously us, ourselves, but also the first letter of impossible. And I love that. I mean, last year when we put La Ultra together, our tagline, I mean, it was a simple word, right? I'm impossible. It was my elder son, Harshit. He was in 7th or 8th grade when he read impossible and said, but this word actually is saying, I am possible. I am possible, impossible. So the I from there, okay, you are definitely possible. The things that you think are impossible are definitely doable, right? So that's where this whole term comes from, that we need to focus on ourselves. Now, again, on my Instagram and Facebook, I had spoken something about my role at National Police Academy. I'm a visiting faculty there. I'm helping the outdoors team with preventing injuries, reducing injuries, how to optimize it as much as we can. The PT part of it primarily. That's what I'm doing with them for last six months or so now. So I find them very, very similar to the society that we are, because unlike the army, they get into services, they clear the exams by the time earliest by 24, later like a early 30s kind of a thing. So there's similar people who get into corporate world. So they're like that, right? So they are that age. They have been sitting and preparing for the toughest exam, one of the toughest exams in India. So they study for that. Before that, they've got into maybe a very good college, a highly rated college, so they've prepared for that. And before that, in school, so good 10 years have gone sitting on a chair, becoming slobs. Most of them are like that. And then once they've cleared the exam based on their rank, IFS, IAS, or IPS, happens. So that's the thing, right? So when they get to the first part, which is the 100 days in Masuri at Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, it's a common 100 days for any of the three streams, really. And then based on after the 100 days, they go on to a National Police Academy being in Hyderabad. So that's where the IPS officers, probationers go for a good 48-week, very intense program. So they're taking those slobs, most of them, and a solid program that is there in place, has been for the last 75 years. Uh, they're trained to become very, very good officers. They're converted into officers, right? Again, this thing about girls are not as good as guys and all that stuff. Last year, so the batch that qualified passed out last year of IPS officers. The person, the probationer who won the best probationer award for outdoors was actually a girl. All right. So, second time in the history of NPA that has happened. So, that whole thing about being women, this, being women, that, rubbish. And trust me, it's a very, very difficult, the expectations from you are very, very difficult. You know, So to win, to beat a lot of other men who've been very active and yet come out on the top, a woman. Oh my God, I mean, that's amazing. Going back to my slob story. So the corporate world, or most of us, are like those folks who get into National Police Academy, IPS probationers, who are slobs. Luckily for those folks, they land up at National Police Academy. Most of us don't get that chance, and I'm like, listen, I'm involved there, and how can I help the society as well? Get on the journey of becoming the better version. It isn't a race. It's not trying to become better than anyone else. It's about becoming better than what you were previously. All right. So that's the whole background behind this whole series that I'll be doing, the whole Project I series. I want to do like a weekly thing, as, or maybe even more often, but let's start with a weekly. And I'll divide it into three sections. The three sections being, the first one, like uh, actionables to get you started and to get you, you know, on the track for as long as you want. So that's one part of it, the actionables, right? Actionable tips. The second part is something current affair type of a thing as far as it goes in health, fitness, and all, right? So today I'll be talking about exercising in heat. I mean, if you're in Delhi, next 3 4 days are amazingly good. It beats Bangalore and Hyderabad and all of those places together. It's going to be under 30 degrees maximum. Again, your AQI are very, very good. But then I would expect it to change because, I mean, come on, May, summers, right here. So you need to really know how to exercise in the heat rather than just saying you can't do because it's hot. It's going to be hot. Come on, it's Delhi or it's India. So, of course, summers mean hot. So I'll be talking about that. And then I'll be addressing a lot of questions that have come along. So whether it's on my WhatsApp groups, whether it's here, I'll try to answer all of them. Okay. So let's get started then. So talking about, yeah, actionables, all right, to get you started. So if you are someone who's wanting to pick up physical activity, and almost always it ends up being, hey, can I run? Can I walk? And the first question is, oh, but I get breathless. Okay. What do you do about that? Now, my first tip is, if you want to start running, please do not run for a month. First month, build up a solid base. Okay. Build a solid base, then you're ready. If you haven't been running, walking for all these years, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's totally fine. Start spending time on feet, right? Start doing 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Start start increasing that time on feet. Okay. Now that's a good starting point. Don't try doing too much too soon. You're not 17 or 15 anymore. I mean, if you are, you are. But if you are a 35-year-old, uh, you could be whatever, they'll say types. But physically, things have changed a little. Okay. So that's very important. Coming to breathing again, if you are not breathing well while lying down or while sitting down, okay, how do you expect magically for it to happen for you the right way when you are actually trying to run or walk? Okay, I'll say that again. So if you don't breathe well while lying down or sitting, how do you expect it to happen the right way when you walk or run? All right. So where do you start with improving your breathing? Is when you're lying down first. Okay. So your breathing is not to be thought about too much when you're running, because I don't want you running if you haven't been running for a while. Okay. Now, what do you do then? You just lie down flat, facing up. All right. Put on the AC or whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. Put on the fan if you want. Lie down flat. Yeah. Have a pillow under your neck, not only your head. So cover around here as well. Have the support here. Have your hands by your sides, and you're just resting. All right. And now what you do is take a long, deep breath in, hold it for a couple of seconds, and take a long breath out. So when you breathe in, over 4 seconds, one, two, three, four, hold it for 2 seconds, and you breathe out again, over four. One, two, three, four. All right. Repeat again. And this time, what we'll do is we'll do our breathing slowly. So 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, because then you'll end up doing a second. So 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Hold it for 2 seconds. 1001, 1002. You're breathing out over four again. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. It has taken you 10 seconds to do one single breath. All right. So the idea is Can you start learn how to breathe slowly, okay, while lying down, okay? Do that for a minute. Take those long, deep breaths in and out, just simply 6 times, yeah, just for a minute, okay? And you'll be like, oh my God, this is just different from what I've been doing so far. And there can be variations, doesn't matter. All I want is slow breath in, hold it for a second or two, and then you breathe out, okay? If when you've done this for a while, over like say a week or so, and you can be doing lying down and then sitting down as well, right? So just sit like a puppet. So imagine there's a string here pulling you up. You relax your shoulders, don't have them here, because when your shoulders are shrugged, your lungs can't expand, okay? So the lungs are right here and the heart's right here, for some of us at least. So if you are tight with your shoulders like that, you're restricting your shoulder movements. And again, we'll talk about this sometime later. Don't spend just too much time just breathing on breathing. So let the shoulders be. Think of yourself being pulled up, again sitting tall or with taking a good, support of the backrest if you want. Take a long breath in, hold it for two, breathe out again. All right. So lying down, sitting up, start increasing it. Do for a minute, do for 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, all that stuff. And in a couple of weeks, you got the hang of how to breathe easy. And that's what you need to be doing when you're going out there walking, when you're going out there attempting to run. Okay. So please start with simple breathing exercise. You can do this while you're driving, you're at a traffic signal. You can easily do it anywhere, anytime. All right. Signal is a great idea. So you're just resting, letting go of all those stresses and whoever's cut you right before and all that, honking and all that. It's a great idea. Metro, do that then. Okay. Your boss is yelling at you, start breathing. All right. Your spouse is yelling at you, your children are yelling at you, your parents are yelling at you, everyone yells at you. Breathe. Okay. Very important for physical activities. You can't go anywhere if your breathing isn't right. Strength training, cardiovascular, whatever it be. And even if you don't end up doing all that, if you just breathe well, you're doing great. Second part, strength training about actionables. So breathing is one thing I want you to do. So 3 tips for today, really. Strength training is when we are born and we're trying to balance our heads, when we're trying to raise our heads as a child, as a baby, you're already doing strength training. Strength training does not mean going to the gym only, right? Gravity, against gravity, whatever you're doing, you're trying to move, is already climbing stairs is strength training, right? So you're already working with strength without even realizing what it is. You're doing it every day. Every time you slowly sit down on the WC in the morning and then you get up from there, you've done strength training, all right? Just that you need to do more of it, okay? So squat is a great exercise. You stand up, you sit down, touch your butt and get off again, you've done a squat, all right? Heel raises. So point I'm trying to make is, I always say, if running is your love, your strength training is like your in-laws. Whether you like them or not, you need to be on the good side, all right, to do like a decent job with your running and walking and all that. So please figure that part out, all right? So start doing strength training, simple stuff, not only going to the gym, okay? Your back pains, your knee pains, this will play a very big role. Again, I will cover all of this in later episodes and all that, but just to give you an idea that all of us, even we, though we have chronic disease of any types, the worst kinds, you can always do strength training. Your muscles are an asset, your fat is a liability, right? So when you do any basic strength training, you're getting those muscles to be active again. Okay. So whatever that disease be, the load on the body is lesser if there's more muscle than fat. It's not about the body weight. It's about what type of what body weight is it, muscle or the fat. Okay. So that's strength training. Please get on with it. Walk, as I said, start doing time on feet. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है अगर आपने अभी तक नहीं किया है. So basically, if you're just doing 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's better than yesterday. Yesterday was a zero. It's fine. Don't worry about the 10,000 steps. Okay, just start on it. Just be on a plan. And we'll be happy to share. Yes, I have a book on exactly this, the couch to 5, 11, 22 kilometers over 100 days and all that. And there's a new program that we'll soon be starting. But point really is I'll share all of this. So for now, if you're a beginner, what I want you to do is I mean, there's a simple thing that we keep hearing, right? If you want to teach something, if you want to learn something, start teaching. Okay. If you want to become active, all of you guys who are listening to this live or will listen to it in the future, the best way to become better, to be disciplined, and discipline is far more important than, by the way, motivation. To stay on the track, what you should do is inspire, activate some 3 to 5 of your colleagues, your friends, your family members saying, I will teach you how to do it. So take this gyan there, tell them all of this stuff that I'm saying, but say, we will do it together. So once you're becoming that little mentor, you have that obligation to do it, and that works beautifully well, right? Start mentoring other people. Okay. So as I said, start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's okay. Have that little group. We'll also create a group anyways here. But become a mentor for others. Start increasing it slowly. Don't have to run. You want to run a full marathon, say next January or something, it's totally fine. We have enough time. You do not need to run for the month of May. Just start increasing your time on feet. If starting from 1st May till the end of the month, if we build it up to like a 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes of time on feet, walking, you've done beautifully well. Okay. So that's the only assignment if you right now are a slob, haven't been doing too much of walking and all that. You do not need to run for the month of May. Okay. So those are my actionables. So that's the first section of the episode. The second, what I'll do is there's so many questions here. I might as well actually address them. So just going through this whole chat. How to get relief from lower back pain, L5 and LS. There's no LS. There's S1, Sanjay. But anyways, I mean, let's not get into that. So if it's the low back and the spine, just give me a second. I'll grab my spine. Wow. All right. So spine. So, everyone has a skeleton in the closet, and so do I, right? So here you go. This was the last patient I saw. So this is L5, this is S1, this is the belt level. And if the pain's around here, I'll not go into too deeper detail, but this is my bread and butter, has been for the last 25-ish years. Point really is, there are these muscles, the 24 muscles from the skull, the 7 in the neck, all right? There are 12 in the thoracic region, and the 5 in the lumbar region. This is where the lungs would be, this is where the heart would be, and this is this from the backside. These 5 are the lumbars. So there are 5 of them. Then sacrum starts, S1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then coccyx. So if there's a disc bulge and all that, very simply put, these bones are sat on top of each other. This chap has a steel rod going through its backside, literally, all right? And that's why it's like this, okay? In us, in human beings, there's no steel rod up our backsides, right? So it's the muscles that keep all these bones together. When your muscles are very, very weak, irrespective of the pathology or the disease or the diagnosis that people like have made, you have to work around there. Most of my colleagues are telling you to stiffen your backs. Very bad advice. You need to get your back strengthening, Sanjay. You have to get your back mobilized. So strength and mobility for your lumbar spine is very, very important. So get moving with your back. Okay, get doing this movement. All right. So what I'm really doing is I'm sitting like a lalaji, then I'm actually extending backwards, sitting tall all the way, and then going down. That's a very, very simple tip to do. Raise your arms up, you're extending your back already, trying to go forwards, touching your nose to your knees, you're bending forward. So you're moving that back very well. Strengthening wise, if you're lying on your back, you're raising your chest off the ground. So you're lying face down and you're raising your body up. You're working your lower back very well. I mean, there are ways to do that. I can share the links to the video, but that's a good start. All right. Get those muscles working. Do squats. Okay. When we talk about the spine, don't forget the next joint. Okay. Next door neighbor. Your hips have to be very mobile. Most of us have it very, very stiff. Please start working with this. Most of my colleagues will not talk about this. All right. So that's what you get started with, Sanjay. Because by how to get rid of inertia due to laziness and procrastination. Yeah, because I was talking to a friend earlier. This friend of mine has inspired planet Earth to move. All right. And planet Earth is very envious of him because of his body shape is like as round as you can get, and spherical and cylindrical, all of it together, put together, right? So the whole idea is just get started. The body weight, the body shape, the body size has nothing to do with it. Elephants move very well. Rhinoceros, hippopotamus, they move very well. Okay, so seriously, whatever barriers we put in our own heads, we need to get rid of them. As I was saying earlier, look for mentoring people. Okay, create that group in your own. You have that singing group and all that. Say, listen, why don't we sing to each other or whatever? I mean, just a random idea, but can we do it while we actually move? All right, that's a good start. It could very well be just on the weekends to begin with, but become a mentor to others. You'll carry on doing a lot longer. Okay, so figure out such things, please. Um, don't waste too much money right away on, say, a treadmill and expensive shoes and all that. Just get started, yeah. All right. Find that little gang, get moving. Okay. That's really the best way to do it. Mentor, become a mentor. Atre Basu, how to keep my knees in good condition and walk well after the age of 70. Very good point, Atre. I have no idea about your running right now and all that. But what I would say is strength training, not crazy heavy weights, but do strength training, do your squats. Remember, when you are moving, you're moving your hips. When you walk, you work with your knees, and then you work with your ankles. So basically, there are three joints: your hips, your knees, and your ankles that are working in sync. All right, Atre? So do heel raises to get your ankles moving. All right, so simple heel raises that are there. So get this joint moving. Work with your hips, hip mobility again. I'll share those videos if I remember. Um, Work with those. The load on the knees will be better. Most people who run and don't do strength training are not helping themselves, right? So important part. So thanks for that. But start doing strength training. Get mobility in your spine, in your hips, in your ankles. Reduce the load on the knees. Amateur runners run with their knees. Good runners run with their hips. Remember that part. Okay. Devakar, how to be consistent? Devakar, sir, same thing. Um, Discipline is important. Motivation is less important. So discipline, figure out that club, that group of yours. Just get started. For first 40 days, 50 days, it'll not so much be about, oh, I don't like it, I like it. I don't care if you don't like it. Okay. We've agreed it's a good thing. Then let's just get on with it, doing it together. Right. So that's just a very important thing. Just commit to, hey, listen, can I do it for a non-stop 100? That's wrong, actually. I'll take that back. That I'll do it consistently for that long, like a 2 months. Yes, you need recovery times in between. Twice a week for beginners, I would say, like a Sunday, Saturday, or maybe a midweek as well. So that's a great idea. So maybe one day of the weekend you do, and 4 times of the week. So midweek is a break as well. Okay. All right. And Susan, ma'am, good evening. And Lings, Ayantan, what are you saying? How to run safely if suddenly experiencing bowing lower legs, knees, age 35, 40. Link, so the thing is, bowing of legs happens over a period of time. It doesn't happen suddenly. It's courtesy, the weakness of the bones. Some of us have it pretty much childhood wise because calcium deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, and all that stuff. So, or happens around, say, 35, 40, that kind of age as well. Even if it started, what I would like you to do is actually start doing strength training, address your vitamin D3 and all those issues. How are those doing? Start working on them. Anuj, good evening, sir. So, and again, other things that I was saying earlier as well, Ling. So work with them. Vijay, greetings from Hyderabad, Rajat, sir. Very good evening, sir. Uh, Ayushi, hey, Ayushi, bowing down to man himself. Got a lot of relief after implementing the exercise you told. Thank you, ma'am. Pleasure, pleasure. Dilip, good evening, sir. Pari Bharat, good evening, good evening. And Kathakar, the storyteller. Hello, madam. What should rise, the tummy or the chest when we breathe? Yeah. So the point really is anyone is just wrong. Okay. So I know what my yoga friends will talk about. The point really is there's a rib cage, and there's a diaphragm, right? So the whole tummy breathing is totally all good, but the point is, the ribs. I mean, very basic, right? They're balloons. Our lungs are balloons. They expand in all directions. They just don't expand this way. Okay. So when we expand our lungs, they expand like that. So, of course, when the diaphragm goes like that, the lungs will move, the chest will move as well. It has to, it should expand if your upper back is not very stiff. So, it's kind of incorrect when people just say only the tummy should, right? Both will, both should. Your ribs will expand. Okay. So, they'll go like that when you're taking a long breath in, okay, along with obviously the tummy part. So yeah, sorry, Angeline, it's both really rather than just any one. And that's the thing again, Angeline. People are looking for absolutes, and that's totally wrong in anything, in any field in life, right? It's both, and it's important. We have to get our upper back moving, our chest, our shoulders relaxed to breathe well. If you're here and you're just trying to do your diaphragm breathing, you're wasting it. Those balloons have to expand, otherwise there's no air going in into those lungs of yours, right? So improve the posture, sit like a puppet, let those your upper back be very mobile. Yes, use your diaphragm. It all has to move. Dilip, sir, please give suggestions about marathon shoes. There's a long one, Dilip. Simple tips. uh, Picking up your running shoe is like picking up your life partner. Okay. So imagine the lip going with your mom for sari shopping back then, whenever you did do that, if at all, basically saying, don't rush buying your running shoes. Okay. And as I said, it's a bit like trying to figure out your life partner. In case of shoes, they'll end up at least being your life partner for the year and a half at least, right? They'll be part of your journey, a very important part of your journey. So they just can't be because I like a particular brand or a model. It like Aishwarya Rai, pretty hot, right? Or was, still is, when I was growing up. But the point really is, it does not mean she's good or bad for me. All right. It just means I need to figure if we connect, kind of a thing. So same for the shoes. I would say brands like Adidas, Asics, Nimbus, sorry, New Balance, Saucony, Brooks, Under Armour, Puma. I don't know. Okay, okay. So those are the brands. I don't know which ones I've forgotten, but go for those five, six top brands. And what you do is go to one shop, try out shoes. That guy, the salesperson, will come along and tell you about various things or technology and science of any of them. Don't worry about the bloody science. Okay, wear the shoe, see if it works for you. Is it feeling right? If it's feeling right, it's right for you. And shortlist for that brand, saying, okay, this is the one shoe that I really like. And the thing is, the shoe should be one finger width longer than your longest toe. So it should be, this much gap should be there. All right. So if you look at this way, it's because when you're running, your foot tends to expand. So that's the thing about your shoes. Then you go to the next brand, do the same thing, shortlist. Go to the next shortlist. Out of the five, six brands, you shortlisted each of them. Either that day or the next day, come along, do the same thing again. And in each shoe, spend 10 to 15 minutes in them. Okay. So pretend you're trying to buy the whole store or take a franchisee for the brand, whatever. Uh, and when you come back again, do the same again. Out of the five, six that have been shortlisted in each brand, you go looking for each of them and you figure which is the one that's really working. If it takes you 2, 3 visits to the mall or to the store, it's totally fine. It's a matter of your feet. You stand on your feet, all right? Literally. So you have to be wearing good shoes and go by the feel rather than the technology or the cost of the shoes. It's not necessary. I mean, some would disagree that if a guy or a girl is richer than the other one, hence, that's a better partner. Same for the shoes. It doesn't have to be the most expensive shoe. Okay. Ajit, hello, Doc. Rajat, enjoying your talk on fitness. Thank you so much. Priv Excel, hey doc, please advise on frozen shoulder. Frozen shoulder is capsulitis. So I'd share, okay, this is not the shoulder, but let me explain with the hip. So effectively what happens with a shoulder, and shoulder slightly different joint, it's a ball and socket, lesser extent to the hip, but there's a capsule here, all right? So there are these things that are going from the bone to this bone. Same for the shoulder. It's stiffness of that whole capsule and is not letting you move as freely. Now, the simple fundamental stuff I want you to know, or I want to tell you right now about a frozen shoulder. This spine is where the shoulder blade is attached. So shoulder blade's right here, shoulder blade's right here. Okay. And that's where the shoulder would be hanging here. All right. And if these muscles are stiffer and these bones are stiffer, you already are very stiff moving your shoulder blade and your shoulder, your arm, in any case. Whole idea is get this part of the back moving, get your shoulder moving. Very important, start doing that. Okay. Breathe. Start with breathing for a frozen shoulder. Okay. So as simple as that. Get your breathing well, get that part of the spine moving. And again, going back to Angeline's point, is it the diaphragm or the upper back or the chest? It's all of it. Okay. Breathing will help your frozen shoulder. Get mobile, pain-free range. I mean, whatever those videos will be all over YouTube. Um, and I can share as well. But get started with them in pain-free ranges at least, right? Yes, I know it's painful, but please get started. It'll be difficult if you just work with pain-free, because then you'll never actually increase your range. So at least that comfortable pain, like not too much pain, at least that range, please start working with, okay? And please elaborate on GOYA. GOYA stands for get off your ass, okay? And I think I used it first time when I was writing for Mint. I started writing for them in 2008. Um, and I think I used this term first time in 2009 or 8 only. And the editorial board wasn't very happy to begin with. They were like, how can we write this? And I was like, we all have it, right? We all have our backsides, and we've been sitting on it for very long. And we need to get off it. And we need to make it fun. And hence Goya, get off your ass. So then they let me. So that's what get off your ass or Goya is. Okay. Brijesh, heel pain, especially on pressure. These are becoming too many questions for one session, but okay, fine. Uh, Heel pain, especially on pressure, it's about the bone. So this is where the pain would be. So this is the whole calcaneum, this whole bone that is there. So whether pain, so this is the flat, right? So whether pain here, here, here on pressure, number one, how is your bone density like? Okay. Number two, what are your vitamin D3 levels like? Number three, are you wearing the right kind of shoes to walk or run? Are you wearing or if you don't walk or run and still you have that, are you wearing a shoe with a very hard sole? Okay. Is your running form right? So is the running surface okay? Okay. Are you already having a knee pain or a back pain, or are you stiff all over the body? And permutation combination of the whole lot. Okay. So very simple tip, wear comfortable shoes. Comfortable does not mean very cushioned shoes either. Okay. So you have to have the right balance there. It'll become a very detailed conversation, but point really is wear comfortable shoes. And if you're running, landing on your heel too much, and then you're surprised why does your heel hurt? I mean, try punching the wall every day. Soon enough, of course, it'll get two things will happen: either it'll break or it'll get stronger. Same thing happens for any bone, really. So if there's pressure going on like that, and if it's the right amount, it'll keep getting stronger. If it's a bit too much, too often, things can start falling apart as well. So take care of your vitamin D3, please. Change your footwear if you have to. Run on a softer surface. Do stretches for your calf, for your foot. Please work with that. Okay. Sanjay Kumar, thanks a lot, sir. Pleasure, pleasure. Vikas, you too, Vikas. Paribat is standing at work for 4 to 5 hours equal to strength training. So it's like this, yeah. People who've been walking, running. So the question is standing at work for 4 to 5 hours equal to strength training? So if someone's been running for 20 years, and they would think that running has got better because they've been running for 20 years, is that the right thing? No, it's not, surprisingly. It just means they have become permanent with that habit, the way they walk or they run. All right. And they've actually, if they've been doing it incorrectly, it has become a permanent problem now. All right. So they need to start looking at, like, am I moving the right way? And the right way to move is as a child would. When you stand at work for 4 to 5 hours, and if your posture isn't correct, you're probably doing yourself more harm than good. Okay. So that's important. The other part really is, if that's what, Pari Brat, if that's what it is for you, what you should do is half an hour, 45 minutes, you should actually take a rest. You should lean against the wall. you should take a like a higher stool or something, lean on it, sit on it. 4 to 5 is a bit too much, all right? And no, it's not equivalent to strength training at all. Okay, so more disadvantages rather than advantages of 4 to 5 hours of just standing. I know how to go from slow in smooth to smooth is fast, stuck at slow. Breathing is a good one, Anuj. Figure out the breathing. Lying down and breathing is a good start. Sitting down and breathing is a good start. All right. So breathing gets sorted if you're just doing that. Once your breathing is better, you'll move smoother. Earlier, you'll be slow because you can't breathe well. So that's the first step. Second is, I mean, I know you do strength training or used to at least. Start working with strength. All right. Do walks and runs combination, uh, or fast walk, slow walk to begin with. So those are good ones to begin with. And what happens is if you do say 4 minutes slow, 1 minute fast walk, and you're shifting that whole equation. So from that 4 minutes slow, you're making it to 3 minutes, and that 1 minute fast is becoming 2 minutes, right? And you're starting to do reverse. So by the end of like a month, you could very well be doing 1 minute slow, 4 minutes or 5 minutes fast walk, repeats of it. Now that's how it starts changing. Don't try doing it suddenly. Don't try doing it non-stop with the fast because it'll soon enough become very slow. All right. So yeah, just take it easy with that. All right, and cater to your breathing, your strength training, and that whole slow and the fast equation that I'm talking about, and gradually over weeks keep changing it. And how do yeah? So same. Ravi, hello, hello, and Vijay. Very grateful for the treasure book, La Ultra, Couch to 5'11", 22 kilometers in 100 days. The book has solved many of the questions and preparing to be a better ultra runner. Thanks, Vijay. And yeah, so that's the book, yeah. So La Ultra, Couch to 5'11", 22. It's three of us who've kind of written that. It's a very small book. I have it outside. Um, it's like this thick, and it has all of these things and more, and has a training plans and all. So that's what Vijay is talking about. Sunil, good evening, sir. I'm walking brisk from last 2 years, 6 kilometers in 1 hour, but I'm not losing my weight. Kindly give tips for weight loss. Brilliant question, Sunil. And that's the question. That's the problem with most people. They use walking and running to lose weight. Wrong approach. Okay. Yes, I talk about running all the time, but totally wrong approach. If you're not addressing your nutrition, if you're not addressing your sleep, if you're not addressing your mental health, you're not getting anywhere with all of this, with the walk and the run. Okay. So, right eating habits, start cutting your sugar. Right away, cut your sugar by half of whatever it is. Carbohydrates, cut them by half, whatever it is. Make your rotis thinner. Don't eat parathas as much. Again, can they be reduced by half? Numbers and like thickness. Um, have a gap of 2 to 3 hours before between dinner and sleep, right? As simple as that. Start with that one single tip on the timing of when you eat, and cut down your sugar and carbs. I have more fat. We guys, when we were growing up, all over everywhere it used to be fat free that, right? Like ghee and makhan is great to have, yeah, on top. खाओ यार दबा के खाओ मैं इतना खाता हूँ देखो वेट कितना मतलब मेरा राइट तो प्लीज start having the ghee and the makhans our nanis and dadis used to give us. So get on with that desi diet. All right, don't have to follow. There's a fat diet every 2 weeks, every month, and all that. Don't go for all that. Eat more proteins. Proteins are your building blocks, so they'll help you recover better sooner. So please do that. Okay, start working with this. You don't have to cut down on food to begin with, because as you do more exercises, you need more energy. If you're a non-vegetarian, eat the egg, and both the yellow and the white. Nature wouldn't have done the yellow if yellow wasn't good. So please have the yellow as well. Right? Ketki Pujari, incessant pain in calves for 4 to 5 days. Is that a sign of weakness or overworked limbs? More overworked limbs. If it's 4 to 5 days, I don't have the rest of the history. Should I continue walking despite the pains? No. A little bit rest, a little bit pamper the calves a little. So stretch them and press them a little. Ask the partner, um, Seva, you know, they should be helping you out basically. So stretch them, release them, it'll help. Okay, and if it's only been 4 or 5 days, it's not a sign of weakness, then it's probably a overworked limb. Okay, or body. And Vijay again, Rajat, so kindly convey our Hyderabad runners' best wishes to Harshit. Definitely will. We were actually there in Hyderabad. We came back day before. Next time I'll let you know sooner. Sandeep, sorry for joining late, Dr. Rajat. Pleasure, pleasure. Don't worry. Anubhav, can vertigo be healed by physio? I would say please see the ENT first before banking on the physio to help with the vertigo. Um, there can be things at times that, it's a symptom after all, vertigo. We need to get to the bottom of it, like what is going on with it. And then whoever after that. But ENT is the first person I would think of for anything vertigo. Sahi. Sir, I'm Suraj. I have run consistently 5, 10, 16, 23. Now I'm thinking to complete full marathon and 100 kilometers. How much daily practice would it require? Suraj, for a full marathon, depends where you are today. Like what kind of distances have you run, say, in last 1 month? If you are talking about from 0 kilometers as of right now, I would say full marathon, 6 to 9 months to do it well. 100 kilometers a year, I would say. Yes, you can do it a lot sooner, but if you're doing it, let's do it well. And if it's 23 kilometers that you're already at, I would still give you 4 months for a full marathon at least. Okay. 8 to 9 months at least for 100, maybe even a year still. Okay. Because again, I want you to do them well. Don't rush. And also, do I need strength training? Of course you do. Definitely do. My muscle and fatigue recovery is better, but I want to improve time. Um, Yeah. So work with strength training, okay, and sleep and other things I've said earlier. Ajit, doc, please advise. Sometimes I feel very heavy in my feet and ankles. What is due to and what is the remedy, please? Ajit, I've actually covered all of it. Do what I'm saying, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put links of various exercises in this video later that you all should be doing. I already have those videos out there. And Mercy, hello. Thank you for sharing. Enjoyed it. Good, good. Thank you, thank you. Sandeep, great advice on losing weight. Good, thank you. How do we know we are breathing right? यार लंबा सांस लो 2 सेकंड रुको और लंबा सांस बाहर आराम से you should be easy with your shoulders, you should be relaxed totally, and you're doing it fine then. Okay, that's what a good breath is. uh, and sir, I don't do any practice, directly run. I don't know what that means. So you have to practice. All right. Only then will you be able to do it well. Otherwise, injuries will come. Ketki, running, walking on road. Okay. Yes and no. I prefer road versus cement or concrete. Concrete's a lot harder. Tiles are even worse. So roads are okay. Soft ground is even better if it's in the park or something. I was running in Sanjavan today, Delhi. Wonderful, beautiful. And so please make breathing and types of breathing video for us. Okay, sir. And Sunil Arora, thank you, Dr. Saib. When is the next run in Ladakh? It's on pause right now. I don't know. And what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to take 2, 3 questions that were there on my WhatsApp. And I think I'll skip what I was going to talk about exercising in heat. I'll save it for next time. It's been a long day, long session, this one. So, Garima. All right. So, special tips to exercise in heat. Okay, I'll quickly say about that. This is the topic I wanted to talk in length. I'll save it for next time anyways. But right now, next 1 week in Delhi is not bad. Okay. In any case, when you splash cold water on your face, surprisingly, your core body temperature reduces by 2 to 3 degrees just by splashing cold water on your face. Right. So that's one tip I want to give. The other thing is that these bottles, which have like a fountain thing, right? So if you splash, put it over your head, for example, right after the run, during the run, again your core temperature reduces. So that's something that I'll be very, very like big advice. I practice it all the time. So that's what you need to be doing. Okay. Change your shirt, by the way, when you run. Wear sunglasses. Wear caps. Cover your head, face. When you wear sunglasses, that shade helps you reduce your temperature again by a degree or two. Okay, very simple tips. Please start doing it. Okay, and Amit sir, please जब भी join करना है आइए ना please. अच्छा, and why is a full day recovery day important? Why is a full recovery day important? Because you need recovery. See, the thing is, when you run, when you do strength training, when you study, the real adaptation, the real sinking on of all that, whatever you trained for, is actually making sense, is adapting when you're resting. Okay, strength training does not have to be done, for example, every day. When it's done twice a week, thrice a week is when you're really making the massive change. Okay, so that's an important point. So I would say for most of us here, 2 days a week at least should be rest days, like daba ke soul types. Okay, and when we talk about sleep, 7 to 9 hours kind of a time. And what all comes under recovery? Walk, swim. See, it's relative. Like I believe in active rest. For someone like me, if I even walk that 1 hour on my rest days, it's okay. For some of us, it needs to be flat like that. All right. Shavasana, which is a rest day. So please work with that. Okay. And then Sahil is asking about, oh my God. So there are 4 questions. I have ADHD and any form of workout gets boring after a while. Consistent becomes a big problem. Does having different forms of workout in your routine, like swimming, helps in being consistent? Okay, so ADHD, just a very quick one. Exercise help immensely, especially things that are repetitive. All right, because what is ADHD? ADHD, that's right. So when it's repetitive and you're doing it consistently like that, you're calming down a lot more. So those exercises become a lot more important for someone with ADHD. ADHD would want to do more strength training, and I'm not saying don't do it, but more of cardiovascular, more of repetitive stuff, walk, run, cycle, swim. Those are things I would prefer, not prefer, but I would want them more to be doing. Strength is important, but keep that ratio. Importance of a healthy diet along with a physically active life. Most people ignore that. I've covered. I mean, very, very important, please. Specific workouts for specific body parts, not a great idea. Work with the whole body. Um, but yeah, I mean, exercises for different parts, but don't divide the days just saying shoulder and the neck and whatever. I have a weak lower back and that makes me feel tired after a workout, or I want to burn chest and belly fat. It doesn't work like that. So if you want to lose weight around the waist, it doesn't work like that. It'll be the whole body that'll be worked. I usually feel tired and exhausted, lethargic during the rest of the day. If I do a workout early in the day, steps me from being consistent a lot of times. Is there a way to avoid this? Some of us are early risers, some of us are late risers, and it's okay. It's good to accept that. Okay. Once you do that, it's a good starting point. So when you're sleeping better, when you're eating better, you will feel lesser lethargic when you're trying to do, the exercise. Again, if you haven't eaten after that, if you haven't had your proteins after your run or workout, yes, you'll be exhausted throughout the day. Okay, and yeah, that's the way to do it. Can random tremors or fans get better with exercise? Yes and no. So I would say, of course, start doing physical activity again. Think the whole body, and there's a brain and there's me kind of a thing, right? uh, all of it has a role to play. So yes, it should, but let's not avoid it. Please let a GP, general physician, internal medicine person see it. Please don't ignore it, please. Any tips for older runners? Is high mileage necessary? No, not necessarily. Can't seem to handle high mileage anymore. We should talk about this. Recovery is an issue. You need more rest. You need to be eating better. You need to be sleeping better. If the question, see, it's a tricky question you're asking, and it's not a complete question. Uh, Age does not really matter, but you need to be recovering better, and strength training is going to be very important as well. Okay, so please do that. Can't seem to handle more than 4 days of running anymore. It's okay. Do 3 days. Yeah. Okay. How much intensity in strength? Exercise till high intensity training. Work till failure. Why not? If you can. Okay. And Sandeep Verma, how about cycling on recovery days? Sandeep, again, if it's easy, slow cycling, maybe it works for you, maybe not. So, yeah, you figure. All right. Try doing that, please. All right, guys, listen, it's been 15 minutes. I don't want to stretch it more. The topic I've ignored or not covered enough, I did touch upon it, is exercising in heat. As I said, the plan is to have 3 sections. Please message me. I'll create separate. I think that similar to WhatsApp, whatever that thing is. I'll create a group there. We can really have a little network of people who are connecting, talking to each other, because I can give you the gyan, but the point really is you each will be motivating each other. So I'll be creating something like that. I mean, WhatsApp is there, but that's like a broadcast only. But what's it called there? That uh, telegram, whatever it's called. So we'll be using that. So whoever wants to be connecting there with each other and all that, But yeah, so we'll catch up tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week, same time. And please let me know in messages here or WhatsApp as well, saying if other times suit you. If you have questions, please shoot. None of the stuff that I've spoken about, don't treat it like medical advice, because for medical advice, please pay me some fees. This is just simple tips. Okay. And yeah, that's it. So thanks a lot. Next week, same time, unless for whatever reason we have to change the time. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much. Over and out. Bye bye.